Hey guys, my name's Brandon and welcome to my channel. My job is to help you get out there, explore, and see the world, as well as give you some hints and tips and learn really from my mistakes from traveling. That way to give you the best experience and to answer any questions that you guys have. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Grindelwald and Interlaken, Switzerland. And as always, none of my photos are ever photoshopped. What you see is what you get, and I like to give you the true picture of that area to let you decide if it's worth going to or not. So let's get started. Grindelwald. To be quite honest, this has to be my favorite trip that I think I've ever taken. Every way you looked, you're always getting beautiful scenery, so picturesque. And to be quite honest, this picture doesn't do it justice because the colors and the way the sun hits the mountains are just undescribable. But I'll do my best to give it a go. So how do you get to Grindelwald? Well, first off, I think there's a good base, and the good base is in Interlaken. Interlaken allows you to get to a few places quite easily, whether it's Lauterbrunnen or getting all the way over here to Grindelwald. It's about a 45-minute train journey from Interlaken into Grindelwald, and it costs about 10 to 15 franc, depending on the train tickets and when you buy them. Once you get to Grindelwald, you really have a few options. You could hike all the way up to Lake Bachalpsee, you could explore the surrounding areas, or you can take a vernacular up to Lake Bachalpsee and do some hiking around there. What I decided to do was to hike all the way up to Lake Bachalpsee. It was about a three, oh, actually, it was probably more like 4 hour hike. And there was some steep areas along the way. I'd say it wasn't the most challenging hike in the world, but it was definitely long and definitely tiring. I also went on a pretty hot day, so that didn't help. So if you do decide to do that, make sure you bring some water, bring some sunscreen, and just enough food to get you all the way up there. So what you're looking at right now is from the really starting point of the hike. So I just left the Grindelwald city center, if you will. It's not really much of a city center, but we'll call it that. And I just left there, and I'm now making my way up the trail to Grindelwald in order to hike all the way up there. So, like I was saying, you can take a vernacular up. So, this guy right here, whoever that is, they're taking up all the way up there to Lake Wachelsea or some of the other hiking trails that are up there. One of the cool things that I really liked about this area was, you're constantly seeing people parachute and skydive off some of these mountains, and it was really, just breathtaking sight. Tons and tons of people out, especially on a day like today. This was taken in September, so still snow on the mountains, which I thought was pretty interesting because it was probably about, I'd say about 28 degrees roughly Celsius, so still pretty warm out, and there's still snow up on those mountains, so it does tell you how cold it does get. And again, this is just on the hike to Lake Bachelpsea, just another good stopping point to take off and take some good photos from. So this is what I was hiking to. This was the end goal from Grindelwald all the way up here to Lake Wachelsea, and it was absolutely breathtaking. I spent quite some time up here, just hanging out, having some lunch, looking at the views. One of the cool things that I saw, which I didn't post a photo of, but on the way up, there was a whole bunch of cows too that roam around. So you do get to see some sights and get to see some animals along the way. But yes, this was definitely the sight we're seeing. And like I said, you can take a vernacular up here. I do believe it was about 65 franc from Grindelwald up to this lake, and then I think it's another 65 to get back down, but just do your research on that. So it can get quite expensive very quickly, but that's Switzerland for you. They're always nickel and dime and everything, and it does get quite expensive real quick in Switzerland, so I like to play it smart if I can. But also, what you could do is you could take the vernacular up and you could hike. You could get off at the first stop and hike about an hour up to this site here. So, like I was saying earlier, Interlaken is a really good spot to kind of set up base. If you want to get to Lauterbrunnen or you want to get to Grindelwald, I think this is a really good location that kind of puts you right in the heart of those areas. And this is Interlaken taken during obviously the summertime. I have been there during the winter, and to be quite honest with you, there's not a lot going on in the winter. But during the summertime, when it's peak season, there's people out running around doing things, and it is a quite vibrant and busy city. There's also a hiking trail that you could take in Interlaken that shows you all of Interlaken. You could have a nice aerial view of the whole city, and you do get some nice picturesque views from up there. It does take about 45 minutes to do, and you could also take a vernacular up. I want to say it was about 20 franc up, and again 20 franc down. So what I did at the time was I hiked up, and then I just took the vernacular down because I was pretty exhausted by that point. So I just wanted to show you this photo real quick, and this was taken right out of our accommodation in Interlaken, and this was taken out of a hostel. So I just wanted to say that, the hostels there are definitely worth their money, and I say they would definitely compete with some of the hotels that are in Interlaken. They're a little bit cheaper, the hostels are, and I do think I recommend them over hotels in this location. And you get views like this from right outside the hostel. I mean, our hostel had a balcony and everything, and it was absolutely stunning. So, yeah, I just thought I'd show you this quick view and let you know that you can get good views if you do choose that cheaper accommodation. So this photo was taken on the hike in Interlaken, going up to the top. This wasn't quite at the top yet, but it was very, very close. And some of the cool things I like about this is, you really get that full view of Interlaken as well as the Alps in the background. And you'll see also here, there's the river that I took a picture of in the first photo of Interlaken. So I just crossed the bridge and was able to get an aerial view or a front-facing photo just down there below. And just to sum it up, I just wanted to show you this sunset taken from Interlaken. This was taken the same day, both pictures just probably about 15-20 minutes apart, walking back to my accommodation. And, I'm still mesmerized, and I look at that purple sky, and I think to myself, wow, I've never seen a sky that just that colorful before, just that color. So definitely worth a trip, definitely worth a go. I would highly recommend Interlaken as a good spot to set up base camp to get to those other areas that I was talking about. I will have a few more videos on Switzerland. Like I said, this video just covers Grindelwald and Interlaken. But please let me know what your favorite parts of Switzerland are. I'm always going there and always ready to travel. And yeah, let me know if there's any other videos you'd like me to make on Switzerland.